This is the Pixfra Taurus LRF thermal front attachment, or as most people call them, a clip-on. The particular one we are looking at today is the T635 LRF. That means it's a 640 sensor with a 35mm lens. So let's grab it out and have a quick initial look at it. So it comes in this case, and that is the little unit there. There's a 50mm version of this sensor here, as well as a smaller sensor, the 384 sensor, with a 25mm lens and a 35mm lens. You can also get a non-LRF version, which will be a little bit smaller than this one as well. Now they are light. You notice that pretty quickly. They are a magnesium housing, so very lightweight material, and nice, compact, small. It's what you want in a clip-on. From an image quality point of things, Pixfra do extremely well. They have a nice sensor that works well. Their software that is working to process the image does a very good job. And for the price point, they look exceptional. And they look pretty good anyway, if you take the price consideration out of it. From looking at large areas, we got lots of information going on, and through to detailed images of animals, you can really get a real sense of it. Now, the question for a clip-on is always, what mounting adapter does it take? And you'll be pleased to know that this takes the standard 52mm adapter here. This is the standard Rusan one. You can use the modular ones as well, and they wind up nice like that. And there's actually something in the box to help with this, but we'll get to that in a moment. So that will wind in. You can use this ring here to lock that off and make that line up wherever you need it to do so. So it's good that this is a standardized mounting interface. It means you know no proprietary stuff, which is always easier to deal with the common stuff. So standard sort of things. We've got a lens cap at the front that is mounted there. That's a hard plastic one there. You've got your focus adjustment on top there. 3 buttons to interface with there. It also has a remote with those same 3 buttons, but more on that in a moment. Power button is this one here, which is the X. Hold that one down and that will give us power to actually light up green as well. There is the USB-C connection next to that. On this side of the unit, we have the battery compartment, which is for an 18650, and you have your laser rangefinder in there as well. Now on the underside, if you don't want to mount it to the front of your scope, you can mount it in front of your scope. It's got a pretty standard adapter here that you can get mounts for to go into a Picatinny rail. If you prefer to mount it like that, that is available to you as well. Now I said that there was something in the box that is helpful. We'll grab a few things out. So that's the remote. I'll show you here. It's also got a mount on it. It's magnetic, so that can stick down wherever you need it to on your rifle or other places if that makes more sense for you. And then this one here will lock into that mount, or you can grab it and take it. And that has the same 3 buttons that are on top here that allows you to interface with the unit. We also have all the usual stuff. We have the manual and things. We've got the strap for the carry case. We have a couple of batteries. We'll get one of those into the battery compartment. It's nice and easy. The cap there is obviously secured, as you can see. Let's have some Velcro strap if you want to use that for the remote or other things. Charger, as you would expect. We also have a whole stack of heat dots to be able to solder it in with, and the cable, charging cable for that. But we also have this tool here, which allows you to tighten or loosen this up against there. Now, I haven't seen that coming as a tool with a clip-on before, and that just makes it so much nicer that you can lock that off really easily without damaging threads or anything along those lines, and get that in the exact position you want, which probably isn't the position I put it in, but you get the idea. So this is a 640 by 512 sensor. The 384s are 384 by 288. This is a 12 micron pixel pitch across all the sensors, as well as a net D of less than 18 millikelvin, which is really impressive, especially for the price point that this sits at. Now, as with many clip-ons, this is a 1x optical zoom clip-on, so your magnification is going to come from your scope, which means we need to have a good screen in this. And the good news is we do have a good screen in this. It's a 1920 by 1080 resolution. It's an OLED screen. It's 0.49 of an inch. So a good screen for comparing to other clip-ons that are out there. Again, especially at the price point these things are at. Now, they do claim that they'll work with a scope up to 10 power, and while they they will. I think that's pushing it a little bit. They have two modes of where the menu lines up, because obviously if you zoom in, you're going to be much more centralized on the screen. And if there's anything in the outer side of the image, you're going to lose that, particularly menus being the important one. So they do two settings on the menu, and it's just a single button actually that will make that change. Sort of a larger menu to a smaller menu. And I think obviously from 1 power up to 4 power, maybe 5 power, that first menu setting's right. The next one though, probably I think caps out about 7 or 8 times magnification. You might be able to run 10 on it with certain scopes, but I think 8 is probably the safe bet. Now looking through the color palettes, we have white hot, black hot, iron red, alarm, green hot, and sepia. Alarm is basically what other manufacturers will call red hot, where you have a white hot base and then you highlight anything in red that is above a given temperature. These also have the hot tracking feature, which when turned on will give you a red X on the hottest thing that's on your screen. Now that can be very useful if you are trying to pick up game across a sort of big area. It will highlight to you whatever it's seeing, whatever the hottest pixel is. It'll highlight that. Can be very, very useful. Can also sort of mean you don't see some of the other stuff. And that X on there is quite large, can cover up whatever it is you're trying to look at. So good option to have. You may not find it useful, just depends on your circumstances, but some people will certainly find it very useful. This also has forest mode, which different companies call different things, which I guess changes the balance of the contrast and brings out the thermal at a degradation of the quality of everything else. This also has a smart ballistics feature, which allows you to put a bunch of information in about what your drop is, and it will show that information up when you use the laser rangefinder on a given distance. Now, because this doesn't have a reticle in it, you will be using the reticle from your scope, but it will tell you the holdover amounts or where you need to aim. Let's take you through the menu system on the Pixfra Taurus LRF. So we have the Taurus LRF here, and we're going to go through the menus. Now there's 4 buttons on this unit. One on the left-hand side is the on-off button. Tap that and it'll go into standby mode. Hold it down and it will shut down. We'll do that at the end. The other 3, you've got the forward button, which is the menu button, and that will bring up this initial menu. We can, through here, change our color palettes that we can cycle through using the 2 other buttons. They will allow us to go back and forward. So if you've skipped past the one you want, you can go back to a prior one, which is useful. And then we have brightness, and we can tap that menu button. We can run through the other settings of contrast and such as well in our balance. Now, if we hold that menu down, we have our 2 other buttons. The left-hand side button, if we hold that down, that will start recording on the unit. The other one is if you just press that one, this is the bottom left button, that will give you your range finder as well as your ballistic drop. And then the one on the right-hand side will actually change the menu size. So let me bring that menu back up. So we've got first profile, and then we can change it to the second profile. So we've got this setting for that, and if we zoom in, so if we're using a higher magnification scope, now if we hold this menu button down, we will actually get a much smaller image. But of course, if you're zoomed in more, that's going to look a lot better and be more centralized and contained within the field of view. But for the purposes of this, we shall go back to the G1 mode, which is the larger one. Okay, so we hold down the front button, that will take us into the menu itself. Now in here we have all our settings. So first up, your forest one, that changes the look of the image pretty significantly. We can press the menu button to toggle that on or off. Then we go down, we can turn on Wi-Fi. We can turn on hot point. That's the little red crosshair that will go to the hottest part of the image. That's where we turn that on. This one here is whether or not your shutter is going to automatically run or only manually be driven. This is a good option to have in the unit. Auto record allows it to automatically record once a shot is taken, and very useful thing if you are wanting to get those videos. DPC is the dead pixel correction process in here, so you go into that and it will scan the screen and fix any pixels that are not working correctly. This is your zoom, this is the menu zoom. We pressed the button before on it, but so you can see it on this menu as well. You can set that up in there rather than using a button for it. Keep on going, this is where your zeroing would happen, so you can align the the center of the clip-on to your reticle. That's the purpose there with this particular part. This one here allows you to freeze your screen so you can actually capture what went on down range. So when you made a shot, you can capture it so it stays there and then you can adjust accordingly. And we can save that point as well. Here we have 5 different zeroing profiles, so we can save it for different rifles or different ammunition combinations, whatever it is you want to use that for. In here's our laser rangefinder setting, so we can set that up to be for a one-off, so we press the button and we get 1 distance. We can also change that to 15 seconds, so it'll keep giving you data for 15, 30 or 60 seconds. Or we can set up to be continuous, so it keeps giving us data until we turn it off. This one here is your smart ballistic system. So you can turn this on or off, and when you do a laser rangefinder, which we'll show how with one of the buttons, it will actually give you your drop distance as well. And in here are where you can set all your parameters, your velocity, ballistic coefficients, and other such units. In here is the system settings, things like language, whether USB is on or not, the setting for the time, power indicator, how bright that is. That is a light on the side, so you may actually want to have that off or down on 1. It'll give you a warning if there's potential for it to burn in as well, which is a very useful thing to have. Whether you want the logo displayed or not, and whether in yards or meters. The other option you have here is whether the microphone is on and recording when you are recording a video. And then we go down to the version details of the firmware, and then we can restore the unit as well. That's it for the menu system on the Taurus LRF. That's the Taurus LRF. This particular model is the T635 LRF. They do a range of models. Definitely worth checking out. We'll be back soon with another video as well.